Now, what is the career ecosystem? Well, the career ecosystem is something that I've put together in my years of doing career coaching and job search coaching and such that will help you make sense of what you need to do to diversify your job search. Because here was the real problem that I was encountering, or at least my clients were encountering when they came to me. They would usually say something like this: I've been applying for jobs the past 3 months, and I haven't received any callbacks. I've applied probably for 50 to 100 jobs. I feel like I'm spinning in my tires. Now, when I first hear this, I know it's like a very Missouri thing to say, I feel like I'm spinning my tires. I was living in Missouri at the time. I would usually ask them, okay, what are you doing applying to 50 to 100 jobs? And they'd be like, what? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Apply to 50 to 100 jobs? I'm like, no. You should be thinking more qualitatively, not quantitatively. You want to go for the high percentage shots, not the low percentage shots. And they're like, oh, well, how do I do that? Aha, the career ecosystem. Now, the career ecosystem is like this. You first have professional development, and I'm going to go into detail with each of these. But for now, just know that you have professional development. And professional development is generally just anything you can do to improve your qualifications. And then over here, you have face-to-face networking. So we're going to talk about how meeting people face-to-face and building relationships is important to your career. And then you have online presence, which is making yourself discoverable online. And we're going to talk about what that looks like through LinkedIn and portfolio websites. Now, if you look at these three, professional development, face-to-face networking, and online presence, you see these blue arrows here. These three things mutually influence each other. Anytime you advance in your knowledge or skills, you should be letting your face-to-face networks know. So maybe when you talk to them, you should let them know, hey, I just got my certification in this. Oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. Have a conversation about that. And you should also put it on your online presence, your LinkedIn and all that. And anytime you meet people face-to-face, you should be looking at adding them to your online presence. So maybe following them on LinkedIn. And you should be trying to learn from them. So maybe through coffee sessions, pick your brain sessions, those kinds of things. And anytime you build your online presence, you should be making face-to-face contacts through your online presence. And you should be using your online presence to learn more and to professionally develop and to become better at your skills. So these three mutually influence each other. But what each of these three also do is they help you lead to career advancement. Now, I call it career advancement because career advancement just basically means jobs, promotions, and raises. The more you build a network, the more you build an online presence, the more you invest in your professional development, the more career advancement you get. And that's why these orange arrows point to career advancement. Because the common mistake people make with their careers is they think having a career just means going to work from 8 to 5 and going home. If you want to be the best, if you want to have the best things and you want to move up in your career and you want to be excellent at your skill or excellent at your craft, you have to think bigger than just doing your job. You have to think bigger and think of, how can I improve my skills? How can I meet people in my industry so I can have contacts and connections that can help me with all kinds of things? And how can I build an online presence so I'm discoverable? That's the career ecosystem. Now we're going to go into detail for each. First, there's applying for advancement. Anytime we talk about career advancement, we're talking about applying for jobs, promotions, or raises. Career advancement doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave your current company, although sometimes that's what you might have to do. You might have to move out to move up. In fact, in my industry, if you're not on the tenure track, that's usually what you have to do. You have to move to different places, hence all the moves I had to make in my career. But in any case, you can do this within a company too. As you build your professional development, maybe you acquire more skills. You can ask for a promotion or you can ask for a raise. So career advancement doesn't necessarily mean leaving your company per se. It can be promotion from within or just making more money through a raise and those kinds of things. However, whatever you want it to be. Next, Next, you have catering your job search documents. Now, when you cater your job search documents, what we're talking about here is, especially when you're actively applying to jobs, you will need to cater your job search documents to ensure that you're having the highest percentage shot when you do apply online. Now, I know I said earlier that applying online is the lowest percentage shot in terms of applying and getting jobs, and that's still correct. But there are still ways to increase your low percentage, so at least it's not so low. And how you do that is catering your job search documents, catering your resume, catering your cover letter. So what does catering mean? That means adjusting keywords, making each document unique to the specific position you apply for. We'll go into more detail about all of that when we talk about resumes and cover letters, but it does take time, and that's part of your applying for advancement. And then thirdly, you have using direct and reverse strategies. So as you apply for advancement, it may involve directly applying for jobs at a company, or it may also involve just posting your resume on monster.com or posting your resume on LinkedIn and making yourself available to recruiters. But in any case, you're doing things to put yourself in positions to get those jobs, promotions, and raises, not just by building a back network, but if you're more active, doing direct, or if you're more passive, maybe some reverse strategies. So that's applying for advancement. Next, we have professional development. Professional development is basically just investing or improving your skills and knowledge. Anything that involves improving your ability to perform your job better. Maybe it's learning a specific skill or getting a certificate in something. So this could happen through joining professional associations. Every job, or every function at least, in every industry definitely has professional associations that you can be part of. In communication, if you're a communication major, we have the National Communication Association, the NCA. By joining the professional association, you get access to all kinds of professional development opportunities. Perhaps your professional association has certifications and trainings to help you improve your skills and knowledge at whatever it is that you do. For example, in the Public Relations Society of America, they have all kinds of trainings to improve how you do public relations in specific contexts and such. Also, each professional association usually has a conference that you can be part of. And you can go to that conference, and then it's a good way to network as well. But also earning certifications and degrees. If you want to improve your rate, let's say you want to improve your pay, perhaps earning a degree, a higher degree, will help increase your salary. So part of professional development then is getting degrees and certifications so you can learn the skills to be better at your job so you have better output, but also then on paper you can get paid more, which helps you get those raises, or it qualifies you for positions that you weren't qualified for because you didn't meet the educational requirements. In fact, when I worked at the Career Center for the long-term unemployed, I've had several clients who were in their 40s and 50s, and they hit what I call the ivory ceiling. They reached a point in their career where they didn't have a college education, but they did okay in their career. But they couldn't really advance to the executive level or to the higher, director levels because those positions require a college degree. So they hit a wall and they're stuck. So they really have to do is go back and go to school full time when they're 40, 50 to try to finally get those degrees so they could finally advance in their career. So those of you who are in college now, between the ages of 18 to 22, it's actually really smart to get your college degree now so you don't have to go back later when you have a mortgage, kids, family, and all those other things. And then fourthly, another way to professionally develop is to read current trade publications and attend conferences. When you join your professional association, it usually has some kind of trade publication that's high quality. It's peer reviewed by people in your field, and it tells you what are the latest trends, what's going on in your field. It kind of keeps you up to date on what's changing in your field, and it has all kinds of nice things for things in your field that are useful to your professional development. What you have to think about then is when you go into your field or you're into your career, that you're going to be a master of your craft and you're going to try to be the best at it. And you're going to be constantly looking at ways to improve your ability to master your craft, to make that fine product or to give that fine presentation. And these are the resources that you use to become a master at what you do. A lot of people think it just comes through experience, but your experience is limited. Learn from other people's experiences. Learn theories and approaches and things that would be outside the realm of your experience, and then that's how you'll grow. Because your experience is very limited to just what you can experience at the time. But reading and going to seminars and learning from other people, you get a wider breadth of experiences that you could never have. So what are some sample associations that you can be part of? Well, for example, if you're in marketing, let's say you're a marketer, there's the American Marketing Association. So join the American Marketing Associations. And a lot of these associations have ones for students too. They have a student version, or they at least have a student membership price and stuff, so you can be part of it and do that. Or this is the American Institute of Graphic Arts. So if you're a graphic designer, you'd probably join the AIGA. The AIGA has professional development and those kinds of things. If you're in public relations, you have the PRSA. If you're in communication, you might have the National Communication Association. Now, this one's more academic than others, but still, if you're interested in that, there it is. If you're in healthcare, the National Association for Health Professionals. But I'm a software developer, Association for Software Professionals. Every function and industry has an association with it. I've never been proven wrong. I've had students like, I couldn't find my industry. Give me 30 seconds. Give me Google, and I found it. So you definitely have some kind of association affiliated with your job. You just have to know what it is. And a simple Google search, 30 seconds is all you need. You can find it. Then you have face-to-face networking. So this is the next part of the career ecosystem. With face-to-face networking, what your goal is to meet new contacts in person. Now, we'll talk about online presence. I know you can meet people online, but this is all about building that face-to-face connection because you don't really feel like you know someone until you've met them, like you really met them and shook their hand. And so this is where you're focused on doing that. Now, you might be wondering, well, how do I meet new people? Okay, well, you attend job fairs. Job fairs are a great place, by the way, to meet employers face-to-face. Because one of the problems you're going to face if you just do online job search and you just do the databases and the job boards, it's going to get depressing really fast because you're going to be applying all day, 8 hours a day, and not getting very many hits just because of the numbers and just the statistics on this. But going to a job fair, you're in a room full of employers and other job seekers, and you get to talk to them face-to-face, and you get to give your elevator pitch. You can hand them your resume directly. And at the same time, you can make contacts with employers and with other job seekers. Or you join a job club. A job club is essentially an organization of job seekers who help job seekers get each other jobs. Now, job clubs vary in how they run their meetings, but often a job club will include some kind of talk from a career coach or somebody about how to improve your resume, your interviewing and such. And then people they'll talk about job openings that are currently in your area. And then people will basically say, I was on this site, I found this job. Is anybody interested in this? Because I know somebody who does that. Okay, cool. So a job club's a perfect place to network. It's a perfect support group as you go through your job search. It's a great place to just improve your resume and get feedback on your interviewing and such. And all you have to do is just search job clubs on Google or whatever site that you use to search for things, and you'll find them. And then attend networking events. The best place to networking events by far. I love networking events. I have so much fun at networking events. Networking events vary in their style and their approach, but essentially a networking event is a bunch of people who are professionals who don't know each other go into a room and they all meet each other. That's a networking event in a nutshell, and they're fun and they're a blast. And I'll talk about networking in its own lecture later. I'll show you how to do well at networking events so it's not so scary. Because you're like, I have to go to real strangers, I have to meet strangers, and it's like, it's fine. It's fine. Everyone's nice. It's professional. And you leave. Like, networking restores my faith in humanity. Every time I go, I'm just encouraged. I'm happy. I believe in the universe and the greatness of all human beings when I attend a networking event. It's great. It's great. Now, why would you network? Because you're probably like, man, I have to meet people. Why? Because referrals. That's how you get referrals. You go to a networking event and you say, oh, I'm on the job market. I'm currently a marketer for, such and such, but I'm really looking to move up. Oh, I actually work at a company and we're just about to put a posting out there. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Well, we should get coffee sometime. Let's talk about it and maybe I could see if I can be a good fit. And if not, you can refer me. Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Here's my card, blah, blah. Boom. Referrals. So, like I said, the 2 high percentage shots on the job market are referrals and recruiters. This is how you get referrals. You got to network. You got to know people. Sometimes networking doesn't happen at formally organized events. I had a client who he landed his next job because he went to his daughter's softball game and he just happened to sit next to somebody. And he just struck a conversation with the guy because they were complaining about the ump. And then next thing they know, he set up an interview at the person's company because just by chance conversation. So networking is magical. Networking is magical, and it's beautiful. Okay, where do you go to network? So, all right, well, where do I network? Now, I'm going to do a whole lecture on networking, so this is just kind of a taste right now. So don't assume that you know everything about networking because you saw one slide on networking. But one place you can look right away is meetup.com. Meetup does have professional networking events on its site. I'm on part of the Austin, Texas meetups, and I know that there's plenty of professional networking meetup groups out there with the sole purpose of just trying to expand your contacts in your network and your network. But one of my favorites actually is Network After Work. I went to Network After Work in Kansas City, and it's wonderful because it's a collection, it's a national organization. So there's Network After Works in almost every major city, and they have one event every month. You pay like $10, at least that's what I usually paid, was $10, $15, and you got 2 drink tickets, and then you just went and you met people from all kinds of industries, and they had little name tags, and they even had a drawing at the end so you could win a prize. So that was nice. But also look into your Chamber of Commerce. Every city has a Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber of Commerce is basically a collaboration of all the major small businesses in that area, and they just seek to promote the interests of business growth in that area. But they usually have networking events so business leaders can meet each other, and they usually have, this, at least the ones that I've been at, they usually have a Chamber of Commerce for young leaders, so people like college students or people who just recently graduated, and you can join the Chamber of Commerce and you can network the heck out of that because you have business leaders from all over the city, and that's just wonderful. Okay, so you're building that face-to-face presence, you're meeting people face-to-face, you're making contacts, you're that somebody who knows everybody, and you're becoming known. But you also want to build an online presence too, because not everyone goes to face-to-face networking events, especially post-pandemic. I know some people could be scared of them and such. So you also want to make sure you build an online presence too. How do you build an online presence? Well, first, the idea is that you want to make yourself discoverable online. Now, why? Why do I want to make myself discoverable online? Well, because number one, that's where recruiters find you. But then number two, that's where other referrals can find you as well. Now, when you're online and you build an online presence, one of the things that you're going to want to do is share your thoughts and insights about your career or about your craft. So on LinkedIn, for example, people will post updates about things going on in their industry. They might be like a little news updater person, or they might just share their opinions about what's good management. Like if you're a manager, you might write a little post about, here's something I've done for my crew that worked really well. What do you all think? So it's kind of like becoming a thought leader. Now I know like thought leader, but like it's just sharing your thoughts though. You don't have to become one, but showing that you care about your field and that you're willing to share your thoughts about it and willing to put yourself out there communicates really good things to potential employers and clients too. But also making your credentials and portfolio known. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go brag all the time and be like, look at my master's degree, and like you're posting on every page or something. But it's just kind of letting people know who you are and what you offer, like knowing people know the value that you bring. If you're in a design field, by the way, this is where you work on promoting your portfolio. Like if you're a graphic designer, you better have an online portfolio that I can look at because that's how we decide whether you're good or not. But even if you're not in a design field, you can still have a portfolio website and you can display some of the projects and such that you've worked on. And what you're also doing in your online presence, though, is you're building a network of contacts. If you're on LinkedIn, for example, you're trying to increase your followers and you're trying to get more LinkedIn first-degree connections. So that way, when you are on the job market and you research a company, you can go on LinkedIn and look up who works at that company. And if you are connected to some of the people who are worked at that company, boom, you have a referral now. Now you don't have to apply as an anonymous stranger. You message so-and-so on LinkedIn, say, hey, I'm thinking about applying at this job at your company. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. Ask for their opinion, set up an informational interview, then do the informational interview, and then say, hey, can I put you down as a referral when I apply? Sure. Okay, now you have a referral on the application. You stand out against all the other applicants. You'll probably get an interview. Beautiful. Okay? Versus applying as anonymous stranger number 87 out of anonymous strangers 150. Okay? So why online? You already know. Why would I go online? I already said it earlier. Why would you post stuff online? Recruiters go online. Recruiters look for people online. They say, oh, I have to fill this requisition. Where do I go? I go online. So there you go. You want to be discoverable to recruiters. Now, here are some sample online platforms. Now, we're going to do a whole thing on LinkedIn later in the semester. And so LinkedIn is going to be something that you're going to have, you're going to be good at it, and you're going to use it, and lots of miracles are going to happen. Every semester I teach professional comm, I get students on LinkedIn. I always get at least 2 success stories within 2 weeks of teaching LinkedIn. Somebody got an internship, somebody got a job offer, somebody got 2 job offers, blah, blah, or at least interview offers, I should say. Interview offers, that kind of thing. So LinkedIn is beautiful. And yes, we'll talk about LinkedIn for sure. Now I have Wix on here. Now Wix is a website building platform. But what's nice about it is if you want to build a portfolio, I highly recommend Wix. In fact, I have 2 professional websites for myself, and they're all made with Wix. You don't have to have any programming knowledge. It's just drag and drop. It's like using Paint, almost. But even easier than using Paint, because I can't draw. But Wix is beautiful. So make a portfolio website. That's one way you can build an online presence. But also SlideShare. So here's what some people do. SlideShare is a place where you, of course, post slides. But what you can also do is you can post your resume on SlideShare and add like a voiceover and stuff. And then you have sort of like a virtual resume, and then you share that on your LinkedIn. But it's also you can easily find it on Google too. And then when people search your name on Google, they can get like a little voiceover resume, which is kind of cool. You can also use Facebook. Facebook does have job postings. You can go and join job seeker groups on Facebook. And I've heard of recruiters going on Facebook to find people, as well as Twitter. Twitter has job openings and job postings, and you can tweet at thought leaders and recruiters on Twitter and such. So we're not going to go into detail on Facebook and Twitter. Unfortunately, in our class, we just don't have time. But you will learn LinkedIn for sure, because that's the one thing. If I had to choose out of the 5, which one should I learn? LinkedIn. Now, the last question is, how do you use the career ecosystem to execute a more effective job search? Well, I think you know the answers now. Let's review the career ecosystem one more time. Well, from a professional development standpoint, what you see is that by increasing your knowledge, increasing your skills, getting degrees, joining your organization, your professional organization, you're going to make yourself more valuable. As you have more education, your company should pay you more, right? That should be a fair exchange between you and the company. So professional development through education and more credentials, better output because you're better at your job, all of those things should potentially get you more money. And if not, you can apply at another job and you can make more money that way. So maybe you'll have to move out to move up. But also, as you professionally develop, you might go to conferences, for example. And at the conference, you're going to learn new skills and learn new things. And at the conference, you're going to meet a ton of people that way. So that's why we love conferences. Conferences are amazing because you meet tons of people in your field in one place for a couple days and lots of network contacts. And that's going to improve your face-to-face networking. Similarly, as you meet more people face-to-face networking, that's going to improve your professional development because you'll have more people to learn from. Maybe as you meet somebody who does your field, for example, they might teach you something or show you something new that can help you become better. So you have things like mentorships or partnerships with people from other organizations, and that makes you stronger professionally because you know more people. And then face-to-face networking advances your career because as you meet more people, you learn about job openings and you have referrals into companies. And then you now, instead of being an anonymous stranger applying for jobs, you have people vouching for you. And it's always better when somebody vouches for you than when nobody vouches for you. So that's huge for face-to-face networking. But also as you face-to-face network, you're going to improve your online presence because hopefully the people you meet face-to-face, you add them to your LinkedIn and to your online presence and you let them know, hey, check out my blah, blah, blah. There you go. Now they're online. And as you build your online presence through LinkedIn and such, LinkedIn has professional development opportunities because you get to stay up to date on what's going on in your field through online articles and periodicals. Great. That's going to help you professional develop. Plus, you can do online webinars and seminars and such. So that's cool. That's going to improve your professional development. And also, as you go on LinkedIn, you might also meet people face-to-face through LinkedIn. You might say, hey, I really want to do a coffee with so-and-so on LinkedIn because I think they seem cool. You ask them the coffee, you do a little coffee session, now you're face-to-face networking too. Okay, cool. Oh, and by the way, while you improve your LinkedIn, you're going to be able to be discoverable by recruiters because they see all this wonderful activity that you're doing and they say, hey, this guy seems really interesting and we really think we want them to work at our company instead. Oh, look, more career advancement. Did you get all that? Okay, there's captions. All right. The biggest thing about the career ecosystem, unemployment insurance. This is your unemployment insurance. When I have clients who lose jobs, my executive clients, they don't freak out. They don't freak out because they have this. They have a huge network. They just say, hey, network, I'm going to be on the job market soon. What do y'all think? People hit them up. They hit up the recruiters. They let their LinkedIn know. Recruiters come to them. So this is your unemployment insurance. It's not the government. It's not your rainy day fund. It's your career ecosystem. If you got no ecosystem, I know I said it like that, you got no ecosystem, you got no insurance. Okay? So get your ecosystem going. Build that ecosystem. You're going to pay, it's going to be dividends after dividends the rest of your life, the more you build this up. As a review, we learned what the typical job search strategies are. You learned that there's reverse, and there's direct, and there's active, and there's passive, and there's settled. Then we learned what the career ecosystem is, and those 4 aspects. And the career ecosystem is the rest of your life, basically. It's the rest of your career. You should always be thinking about the ecosystem. And we learned how you can use the career ecosystem to execute a more successful job search. I just went through all these ways that everything works together to build you up into a successful professional who can get the job that you want, get the pay that you want, or get the promotion that you seek. So what are you waiting for? Build your career ecosystem, get your job target going, become a master of your craft, and you will have success for the rest of your life. Let's go.